Hi guys, thanks a lot for joining us again for ATN Stream. Same time every week, recorded over at blab.im/ATW Networking. Please do come and join us. Join in the conversation. All you need is a Twitter handle to come and join us. This week, I am actually, change of co-host this week. I'm actually co-hosting with my mum, Lynn Blackledge, and we're talking Australia Day being featured as the live story over on Snapchat, which is pretty awesome, but also a few tech issues that came up. Joined by an Australian who's not in Australia as well, Brett Parry on screen. And we're going to have a few guests jumping in and out to talk about bits and pieces. He's thoughtfully included the Australia background for the broadcast as well. So thanks a lot for joining us, Brett. It's good to see you. So how did you enjoy Australia Day from the other side of the world?
I had a great time. I actually stayed up late and I joined a couple of blabs and was following you and mainly you and Chocolate Johnny, you stalking Chocolate Johnny. And
Yes, I saw that too.
Yeah. Got a little creepy there for a little while, but that's fine. No, but it was great. It was really nice. I just kind of sat here and enjoyed it from the other side. And then, so it was great. It looked like a lot of fun, as it usually is. But,
Yeah, it was really good fun. I actually was on my way in to host a show on my way into the city, and I was checking the snaps. I was like, "Oh, Johnny," and Johnny was like at the Great Australia Swim. I'm like, straight to the web. I'm like, "Where exactly is that?" And it's like it's the east side of Sydney Harbour. I'm like, "Well, I'm an hour early anyway," so I was like, "I'll pop over and go and see John." The thing is, when you go to something like that, there's going to be so many people. It's going to be nearly impossible to spot the person you're looking for. But yeah, so I documented my journey. What Brett's talking about is my Snapchat story went from me trying to spot Johnny from the Harbour Bridge across to the Opera House, and then all the way down through Circular Quay, and finally finding him down there. But he was actually working with SME 360, which is an Australian company here they were sponsoring and covering the event. So they were doing some live feed from there.
He was doing
really
very
cool.
well. Actually, at one stage he was actually periscoping from his account and the SME account, and he was trying to take photos at the same time. and he was on a boat.
Multitasking. Multitasking.
I was waiting for him to go in the drink.
Yeah.
I bet you'll
it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a really good day, and like loads of things going on. I'm actually a little bit gutted as I came off of the because obviously my plans changed and I kind of got a lot more involved than I intended to because I had a lot of work stuff on. When I came back through from the Great Australia Swim, which was the first thing, when I got back out onto just outside of Circular Quay was the finish line for the 10K wheelchair race around the rocks. So they do that every year, and I got to see all the awards and the official ceremony for that as well, and that was really cool. The guy that won actually, it was his 10th year in a row, so he did really well. And there was about 4 different categories, and in one of the categories, all top 3 positions were Australian. So that'll put a smile on Brett's face to see Australians rocking it out there. So it was really good. Sorry, I'm just trying to send a quick message to John. But yeah, so it was really good fun going down, documenting it, getting to see other people's bits and pieces of that. I think that this again comes a little bit down to a problem that people. Hey, John just joined, so hopefully maybe he can jump in. We were just chatting about you and your work with SME down at the Great Australian Swim yesterday, and the Snapchat featured story for Australia Day yesterday. So I just was going to say, like, there was quite a lot of stuff going on, but I think one of the problems within that Snapchat live story element is that you basically have to learn it as it lands where you are, and that in itself doesn't lend itself to you maybe getting as much contribution as maybe you should. I know when they were going to feature Australia as a place, Sydney as one of the places on their visit map, the day before the filters came out saying it was coming the next day, but for Australia Day there was kind of no preemptive, hey, tomorrow don't forget to include your snaps. So I think that was, from Snapchat side, that's something they could have improved on, and they could have got a lot more contribution if people knew. Because some people, when things like that happen, go out specifically to take more snaps. And I think they could have done a much better job there of letting people know. And also, it wasn't massively intuitive to everybody how to do it straight away as well. Oh, so you did get in, John. Which one was it? Jump in if you're free, John. Jump in. We'd love to see you in.
Hey girls.
Here he comes.
Hello, Lynn. G'day, Brett.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
Good, John. Well done, mate.
Hey, John. How you
Mate,
doing?
Brett,
Well
that
done.
was you who emailed me today, wasn't it? Or yesterday?
Yeah, that was a brain fart. I just kind of, here I am emailing Johnny going, why don't we just do a podcast interview, because, you'll be doing nothing on Australia Day. It was just like, come on, mate, you give yourself an uppercut, so they're sorry about that, yes.
I got this email from him and he's saying, mate, if you can come on at 10 and 12, well, I'm looking at it. I felt like going, mate, well, you're not following me on Snapchat or Periscope, are you? It's like, I'm in an IRB cruising around Sydney Harbour and I'm thinking, oh, you're a classic. I can't wait to talk to you. So, no, Brett, definitely, just sorry to change some. Brett, definitely, let's just organise a time. I've got a couple of things going on at the moment. So, no, definitely. Okay, sorry. So I just, of course, when Tristan or Lynn pings me or anyone pings me, I always come on. So what were we talking about? Something about Snapchat.
We're just talking about Snapchat and Australia Day and how it was a featured story. Brilliant. First, let's kick off with you got featured. So we were just discussing the fact that it seemed to be quite glitchy and like people seemed to not get very many. Like a couple of people said they got actually more from following mine and your stories than they did from the official story because it wasn't massively diverse. There was, I don't know if you spotted it as well, John, and I said this off air and I'm now going to say it on air. Obviously, around Australia Day, there's always the topic of looking at both sides of the story and the Indigenous culture as well. And they did feature, hats off to them, they featured the Indigenous community, but a big faux pas there in the fact they used the wrong flag. They used the flag that's offensive to Indigenous people over the snap that they included Indigenous people in.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, mate, they're running that from the US. So the thing is, what I get disappointed with Snapchat, they're so big now, they should have just, got a few people here in Australia to help them out. It wouldn't have taken them much to say, hey, they would know the top Snapchatters and the people in Australia. They could have just messaged a whole lot of us and said, hey, this is what we're planning to do for Australia Day. Give us some suggestions. How can you help us? How can we help you? Bam, easy. Of course, first thing I would have said is, yes, you've got to highlight our Indigenous people. These are the people who owned our land, who own the land and who came here first. We're celebrating 1788, the first English, hint, get it? Who came to Australia. So without you pommies, us Greeks, Italians, Jews and Lebs wouldn't be here. So
yeah. And I mean, it was, I actually did catch as I came out through Circular Quay, there was some Brazilians that were doing an interview with the Indigenous guys on the harbour and really kind of understanding their story and stuff. And they were, you would expect them to be a lot more angry about it, but they're actually it's a very thought out conversation whenever they talk about it. And that yes, we're not happy about it, but now what do we do now in the present day about it let's look at celebrating. And I know that there was a massive disruption to the internet yesterday, and pretty much most news channels covered this, was Google decided to go Indigenous rather than white fella for the Google Doodle was actually an Indigenous piece of artwork yesterday. And that was actually done by a girl in Canberra, I believe, when I read through all the stories on it. It was a competition, and she wanted to highlight that, and that was awesome to see.
Yeah, look, my thing is with Snap. Well, I think with Snapchat, this is the year. You all know that I've been on Snapchat for years now, but I think this is the year that the people are finally going to speak up, and Snapchat will listen to us and change the filters and just make it a little bit more smoother and nicer for us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, like, just before you came on, we were discussing the fact that Sarah Moore couldn't add to the story, and she's in Australia. Terry couldn't get the filters. Like, he had them at one point and then they disappeared. So, like, it seemed that it wasn't a seamless integration. And also, when we got the other, before I was saying, when we had the Sydney was going to be featured tomorrow, we got a load of filters the day before, so that people knew when we're ready to take more snaps. And for Australia Day, there wasn't anything like that. It just happened.
Okay, I'm going to change it because I want to ask. I know Blake's here, Blake Croft. If you don't know who Blake Croft is, he's one of the funniest Snapchatters, and I love imitating. I don't know if you saw. I love imitating Blake Croft when he says "Good morning." I know. It's like, man, I practice that, so one day I'm going to sound like a bloody southerner and get it so perfect. But Blake did a Snapchat with the Aussie stuff on there. So how did he get all that?
So I actually snapped him and asked him about that, and there is a way to do it. It's maybe a way you shouldn't do. So
okay, all right,
I'm not going to discuss on
it. Shall remain unmentioned.
Well, I know, and it's,
so it is.
I get it because I've been jailbroken.
Oh, he said it's fine. Okay,
No,
so it's jailbroken.
Yeah, okay.
Hence his location.
Well, I thought it was jailbroken, but so the thing is with Snapchat as well. You know, there's a lot of third-party apps that may give you that ability to do better videos and stuff. But I've heard that if you get onto those third-party apps, they try and shut you down. So
yeah, I actually read that on a chat couple. I looked it up because I was looking at what Blake was doing, and and I thought, no, there's got to be a way to do that. But there is a lot of people warning against that, because they will shut it down. So
yeah. So one thing that I've obviously been working closely with Blake on we're actually it's actually today that the Snapchat course officially gets released. But when we were talking around the whole thing and how he does some of his bits, he said he's actually had a message that from Snapchat they've actually directly messaged out saying about using third-party apps.
Yeah.
However, when it was jailbroken, there seems to have been no communication around that. So it appears that that's the way to go if you're going to try and do it. So, yeah, look, he had his account locked because he used a third-party app. So fortunately, they let him back in, and we still have him on Snapchat today.
Yeah,
so.
well, because Michael Stelzner got on how Michael and Joel Com have been on Blab and trying to work out stuff like that. He actually pinged me, I think, once and said, is there any other... can you do better snaps? And I said, yeah, look, there's a couple around, and he found it. And I don't know if I told him, don't use it or not, but I don't think he has used it because he does his still standard type of Michael Stelzner's type of snap. So yeah, I'm not prepared. Yeah. I'm not prepared to take the risk. I'd love to, because you look at some of these guys, they're doing some amazing snaps and you think, how the hell are they doing it? But anyway. It's a risk.
There's some people that are making it really obvious. There's people who are clever with jailbroken, and there's people who aren't. People who are not so clever with jailbroken are putting in snaps that are longer than 10 seconds, which is really obvious that you're not using Snapchat because of the Snapchat's limits. So, yeah, I mean, it's about if you're going to do stuff like that, it's about being clever with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I heard someone tell me that the new update, you can't jailbreak your 5S. Or your phone, the new soft. So iOS, I think 9.2, I think, wasn't it? Or?
I think from 9.1 they did. Basically, what happened was Apple got annoyed with, obviously, as soon as you're jailbroken, you're not paying for apps, and that's one of their big revenue streams. So they actually paid $1 million to the first person to jailbreak it if they then told them how they did it, so they could patch it. So they patched it really quickly, and they're paying that $1 million out. They'll have got another $1 million in revenue from apps. But
hang on.
If you notice now, I don't.
So go on. You're saying, because Blake's just saying here 90902 is jailbroken.
It's from 9.1. So basically, Apple's had a big push, and they basically realized, let's discontinue all previous iOS, so you can't roll back, because it has to be live for you to roll back.
Right. Okay.
And he, on 9.1, they did it, and now I don't know if you've had it on your phone, but they're really pushing hard to push everyone to 9.2. Every day I go on my phone, it pops up saying, hey, it's not like a private, a little notification now. It pops up on screen, you can update your software, and you say, no thanks. And it goes, when would you like me to remind you?
Okay.
Like, it's really pushing hard on pushing people to that for I would imagine for exactly that reason around the jailbreaking. So,
okay, cool. All right, bingo. All right, I'm going to keep listening and let someone else jump in on the Australia Day Snapchat saga by Tristan, Brad, and Lynn. Brett, sorry, not Brad. All right.
Thanks for joining us.
I'll be listening.
Thanks,
I'll
mate.
be listening.
I'll
be listening.
Which snap was it? You said you got one in the story. Which one was it? I'm going to go back and record
I looked at, you know how we were met up together, and and I said I've been trying to snap my stories to Snapchat, and I couldn't get on. And then you said, "Oh, here it is," and I was like, "Okay, great." I did one where I had the planes flying, that filter with, Happy Australia Day, and then I just did a view of the Opera House. And in the background was playing K-San, which is, the good old Cold Chisel song. And so I was on there, and I woke up this morning, and I don't see it there, but I had 1,474 views and about 9 or 8 re-snaps. So I don't know. I mean,
it looks like it probably did go through then. But again, it sounds like everyone's seeing something different when they watch that story. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's just glitchy based on where you're watching from. So
yeah. All right. See you
cool.
later.
Thanks a lot, John.
Bye, guys.
Take care, mate.
Chocolate Johnny, as always, is blabbing out.
And smile.
So yeah. So was it good for you?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was great. I kind of cleared my evening and watched the early as soon as the first one started to come through. So it was excellent. And I agree with John. I haven't been on Snapchat. I mean, I signed up for it a long time ago and never really kind of got it. But now it's really seemed to have taken off. And to his point, it was pretty cool. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the Snapchat. I enjoy the periscoping. It just makes for. And then of course today they announced GoPro as a integration, the GoPro integration with Periscope, and that was, and I think that's pretty big news. So because people are going to be like, Matt here, who's going to be able to tie his. You got a GoPro, Matt?
Not yet. I've got to get myself one, but
yeah. So that's one of these things you can put GoPros anywhere. You can put them on your cars and your surfboards and all that kind of stuff. And so exactly. I've heard the reports are kind of mixed as to how it works, but I've been checking out a few people like that. So I think next year for something like Australia Day, big events like this, to have people wandering around with their GoPro is going to be pretty huge.
So what did you say GoPro's connecting up to?
GoPro is now integrated. Today we all woke up this morning and the world went berserk here this morning in the US about GoPro's integration with Periscope.
Wow.
So what you do is you connect your GoPro camera through your iPhone to the Periscope, and it's basically like a third eye. You can do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
And so there's certain like Ryan Steinhoffson and certain people who like this kind of stuff. Ryan Steinhoffson was literally periscoping outside of Best Buy this morning. Going, I've got to go and get a camera because I got to go, and then I want to go to the beach and I'm going to show this and all that kind of stuff. So
that is huge news.
It's huge, yeah.
With that, Brett, I haven't actually read that yet. So is the integration through the GoPro app, or is it inside of the so they've added it as a Periscope inside of the new app?
It looks like it's an integration mainly from the Periscope side because it actually is run through the Periscope app itself, and you can connect it through Wi-Fi to your GoPro. It's not clear how much GoPro had it coming from the other side. But I've been following a few people today, and some are saying that Johnny was just saying he wished he had it yesterday. Mate, I mentioned Johnny before. Maybe you weren't on here. I mentioned that Johnny was on there and scoping with 2 different accounts and managing to hold a camera on the boat on the IRB, which is pretty cool. So
it's in the latest update.
It is. So
you've got it rolled out on the. But it says it rolled out on the 26th. So.
Right. Okay. Well, it rolled out on the 26th here. this is the US. So one of the big things, actually, Ryan Steinhoffson said that. He said, we don't often get to be ahead of the Aussies, but this morning the Aussies are asleep and we've got the jump on them. So, but he said it won't. He said you can't trust those Aussies, but you give it a few hours and they wake up to this news. They're going to be out amongst it. Yeah.
Do we know if that's iOS only or is it Android as well?
It's iOS only. I think pretty sure Ryan said it was iOS only.
Yeah.
I better get charging the iPod Touch then.
You are right. Okay, you go.
Yeah, iOS only. So but that's huge news. So amazing stuff. I'm excited to see what happens with that. Like John said, would have been amazing for him. He was out with the lifeboat rescue yesterday in the harbour. Imagine if he'd been able to GoPro with that. That would have been some awesome stuff coming out of there. So
helmet cam for Chocolate Johnny.
Yeah. he'd have a couple of periscopes going on and a GoPro on his head and Snapchat in the other hand. He needs they're gonna have to extend those Archon mounts to hold 10 devices, and John's gonna be arms out wide kind of thing. I think he's gonna try and outdo Brian Fanzo. Yeah, like a body rig that holds it because of the weight.
He wouldn't be difficult to spot then, would he?
No, he'd spot him straight on. So
you know what he's going to do? He's going to tie one to a cup too, a hot chocolate cup.
Yes. As long as the Oompa Loompas don't push it in the chocolate.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Actually, that might be the thing. You can let one go through the old chocolate fountain. That'd be nice. You can take. Don't worry, these ideas are free, Johnny. You can take them. Don't worry. It's all free marketing, mate.
1 second, guys.
Yeah.
No worries. Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I'm just going to address this, Sarah. We were actually talking Snapchat Australia Day just as you came in, but as obviously conversation has progressed across the GoPro Periscope conversation, which is an amazing leap forward for the app. So I'm super excited for that. And now I'm, as we speak, downloading the update and trying to see where the option is, if it's there or if you have to already be tagged in to have your GoPro kind of connected through to your phone at the point when you do it. Because I know you have for a long time been able to tether your GoPro into your phone, because obviously when you're mounting them, you want to be able to see what they can see. So it's an exciting move forward though, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I see that as a thank you to GoPro for being involved, they're now the most featured account on the top when you go into accounts that you might want to follow. GoPro's up there at the top with 19,500 people following so far, probably since the announcement. So
yeah, well, it was only 14,000 this morning, so it's jumped up 5,000 in a couple of hours.
Yeah. So that's it. It's going to be there. It's going to be featured, and actually, it's on there definitely as a featured account. So that's exciting. So
Brett, is it actually on the home screen, or is it something you just tether beforehand, or have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I don't have a GoPro. I was spending a lot of time watching other people do it this morning.
There we go. Blake saying beforehand.
The option is there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll Periscope from a GoPro later on this afternoon then, because I've got one. So I'll go out and test that this afternoon. The thing is, I need to find somewhere interesting to do it. It doesn't. It's kind of pointless. Like that whole. I'm going to do a GoPro not of anything interesting is a bit. To be a bit of a mute point. Why would you do it? Why would you not go and do something fun when you're testing? So.
It's Blake's point. It has to be Hero 4. That camera.
That's interesting, because they've basically, that's actually then a marketing move from GoPro to sell more GoPros, because you've just discounted half of the people who've got GoPros, which is personally that's a bad marketing move. Because you're going to put people's nose out of joint. If you just bought a 3, because I'm going to go do it, I'm going to shoot action stuff. Now you expect me to buy a 4 so that I can integrate. It's definitely about selling more GoPros, but it will also offend people who have got them. Some people have got 2 or 3 GoPros. and now you want me to go and buy another one to be able to integrate. I mean, we did a test. What we were testing before was actually about bringing in, because you could obviously now GoPro's in there, it's kind of a moot point, but we did because you can tether to a GoPro app. So bringing from GoPro into an app, so we tethered into an iPad mini, and then we used a 6S to within a box to bring that straight into Periscope. But obviously there's a lag. So yeah, for sure, John, for people who are buying now, but I mean, people who have already got, obviously there's other people who have got GoPros that, what do you do with this GoPro? Because no one's going to want to buy it now if the main integrations are kind of going across to the latest.
Hey, Tristan, now you're understanding the frustration of Android.
Yeah.
It's like
because it's only on one thing. It's not across the board on everything.
It's like you go out and buy a Note 5 because it's like 3 times as powerful as an iOS, and you can't do anything with it. So
yeah, and Blake's saying exactly that. I mean, this is long time coming. Like Meerkat tried to roll it out and it didn't work, but I think that maybe it's to do with type of user, maybe the type of people that are using Meerkat against people who are using Periscope, and what they're broadcasting as well, I think makes a massive difference. Like obviously if you're going out shooting a lot of action stuff, like look at Meerkat's interface and how like kind of conversational, and you being able to go back through comments and stuff. It's much more kind of geared around that from kind of my understanding, that, you know, Periscope is people going out. I mean, look at the Periscope Twitter advert is, yes, Australia on the beginning of it, Mitch Oates on the beginning of the Twitter advert for Periscope Twitter integration, like out doing stuff that you couldn't do before. Obviously now it's gone to GoPro. That changes the game, because people can obviously bring in different kind of broadcast. I guess the concern that comes in is, what quality does the GoPro bring to Periscope? Because it's like everything is as strong as the weakest connection in that link. And if you're having to tether, you're tethering via a Wi-Fi connection from the GoPro into the phone and then putting into an app. And like, that was the reason that we never went ahead with it, because it basically was like the quality was bad. Like the quality was really bad because you're bringing it in via a Wi-Fi connection, which means great, you've got this camera that does like HD, 4K, whatever, but you're never going to put that out through Periscope. Also, you'd never want to put that out through Periscope because it'd churn through data. if you could broadcast 4K on Periscope, imagine how quick your data would run out in Australia. You'd be like 2 days live a month, you know? That's a serious, you need a sponsorship like from a company in order to be able to do that otherwise.
That's where we need to buy that telecommunications company.
Yeah, that's it. We'll roll out backpacker mobiles. So
I thought it was interesting. Ryan this morning was, I mean, his excitement was because he's a surfer guy, you know, and he loves doing the water stuff.
Yeah,
and his main comment was, you know, oh, this is really exciting. I can just take my GoPro and this is going to solve all the problems. But if it's wirelessly connected, you still got to take the phone with you. I'm kind of like, well, what?
So now the thing is, again, this comes back to my question: is GoPro going to be any better than having a hit case and a phone? Because hit case and phone is one seamless integration, whereas the GoPro, what if it loses the Wi-Fi connection? There's your first issue. You know, if the connection drops between the phone and the GoPro, what happens to the broadcast? Does it stay live? Does it drop off?
And how are you going to know? I mean, if you put it in your pocket thinking, oh, I'm good to go, it's still in a hit case or something, but it's concealed, and you're going and doing this great scope, and you get out, and all you've got is, you know, dead air, nothing. So, give you, you know, God, I got to go back in the surf, you know. But I don't know. Anyway,
see? Yeah, I totally agree, Sarah. I know it's a starting point, but again, like this, all of this is stuff that will be considered. And like at this point, bear in mind that GoPro has already done integration with Meerkat. It should be something that like this first iteration should be streets ahead of where a normal first iteration should be if they've already connected to a live streaming app. Now, jumping in on a new one, they should be looking at how can we make that a much, rather than, oh yeah, we just went with another platform. It's how do we make it so much better? And I think exactly what Brett said there. If you're going to go shoot action stuff, if you think about, if you're broadcasting stuff and the GoPro is going to be an action type thing generally, is great. It's underwater. It's someone on a mountain bike. It's stuff like that. Is that a good integration for Periscope? Because isn't Periscope about the conversation and the community and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, that's
like, I don't know. Like, obviously, maybe this is part of Periscope clawing back at the original idea of show us stuff. Because now, if you're on a mountain bike going down a hill like 100k an hour, like, you can't be watching comments. You've got to be watching where you're going. And therefore, now you're going to show stuff rather than be just a conversation. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of the play.
Yeah, well,
just go show us exciting, interesting.
You look at some of the most watched broadcasts though, and like they are the ones where you're not commenting. They are the ones like, the Mitch Oates underwater or someone on a bike, riding through the Bali streets. Like, so I don't think it's really going to hurt Periscope. It's just a matter of people integrating it correctly and how it looks.
Yeah, for sure. Which is interesting because obviously, a lot of people out there going, yeah, it's really important to engage and talk to your audience and stuff. And then you just literally go show sharks and stuff underwater. Great broadcast.
Well,
the other 180,000 viewers,
The other option is, the big people like the Mitch. I've only just connected with Mitch. I guess they're in Aspen today. But the big guys can have community managers. It could be, somebody sitting on the shore, watching. They can log in. They can still log in to the same account and still have somebody else interact. But and I think into that.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to go. Like, if you're going to do stuff like that, imagine. So now look at surf competitions, right? All the surfers could have a device on their surfboards. You can watch from the surfboard with, like you say, a community manager sat on the shore, like dependent on they'll be in there and they'll be able to comment, so they can do the engagement side for sure. Like, and I think personally, the way that this should go, like, this is how I would play it, is if you're going to go down that route and you want action stuff, if you want a community manager to engage, bring a desktop conversational side, because community manager trying to engage, imagine Mitch Oates' shark broadcast. If I'm a community manager trying to engage 180,000 people watching a broadcast, I'm not doing that on a phone. There's no way I'm keeping up by typing on a phone. If I'm on a keyboard, I stand a chance. So, it's maybe that's another thing. Like, looking at the kind of dual broadcast side, is this part of what's going on?
It will be interesting. Because
now you can...
How far would any ideas or an opinion on how far the Wi-Fi would stream from phone to GoPro? Because you're still going to have the underwater problems. You're still not going to be able to go underwater.
No,
yeah, because you still need that. Again, so here, this is a brilliant play for hit cases. Even if you want to go down the route of using a GoPro underwater and hit case and stuff, like, look at what Mitch had to do to be able to broadcast from underwater. You still got to do that, but you've got the connect. So the phone and the GoPro will have to be close together for that Wi-Fi connection. But now you've also got to get to data connection above the water. So there's a lot of things to be considered. Like, it's not a just jump in and go, like, I just take my GoPro and I go diving. Like, that's not going to work.
No.
So yeah, I think people are going to get prematurely excited that they can do all this stuff and then realize actually some of it doesn't work. Like, there's a massive problem with it. So it's interesting. Yeah, Blake's right here. So that whole element, and I think where they went dual broadcast before they went GoPro, I think was an intentional move, because I think, let's go back, surf competition example is surfer out there, whether it was a phone in a hit case or it's GoPro, whatever the broadcast is they're bringing, someone can be on the shore doing another broadcast, and you can flick between them. If you want to hear about it, you can come across, talk to community manager that's discussing it. Like a whole show, you can have more than, because there's more than one surfer out there at a time, and you can flick between them all on one account. So you could now watch a full sports competition from within Periscope, and I think that's maybe clawing at let's take more away from TV.
Is that a background behind you, Brett, or is that a green screen?
Green screen. Yeah, I'm certainly not at
No, I thought it might have been
He's
like
a news broadcaster.
Yeah. It's certainly green screen. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I agree with Blake here that, again, yes, it's them looking at winning the war against TV. And the thing with that is it's also going to give control back of what's consumed back to people rather than broadcast organisations. And for me personally, that is the best thing that could happen. Not a big fan of TV, and the fact that it's massively controlled by a very small number of people. Now, with live broadcasting and stuff, it's now going straight back to watch what you want to watch, like interact and engage with those people and make it happen. So
I got a question over that, Tristan, because you mentioned something when you were on the Harbour Bridge the other night. You mentioned Apple TV. And so you can actually do this on Apple TV. You can imagine having multiple screens on that, doing what you're saying.
Yeah, so I know that Terry has been kind of, when we went live and it first came through and you could bring it through to Apple TV, was great because we're doing Periscope. And this is why I'm a massive advocate for people doing landscape for a number of reasons. And I've had heated debates about it with a number of people. But my personal opinion is, firstly, if you look on desktop, landscape is a better option. If you look on a TV, desktop is a better option. If you want to take a screenshot of something, landscape is a better option, even if you're holding your phone this way, because now the comments aren't obscuring the thing. So if you do it portrait, the comments are over the top. Unless you go in and disable comments, it makes it more intuitive for everyone to do those things, which is why I always, when I'm doing my broadcast, I'm landscape, 90% of the time. In fact, I think within the last month or so, I don't think I haven't put anything out in portrait, because I'm thinking, again, also think repurposing. I want to put it on YouTube. It's in landscape already. Great. Take it down, put it straight on YouTube. I don't have to mess about with it. It's ready to go. And I think that's going to be a massive, really kind of powerful thing, is people realizing stuff like that. And that sounds like it's a really small thing, whether you go landscape or portrait, but look at the number of different integrations that I've already just pointed out there. Is, TV, web, and like repurposing for YouTube. It's ideal solution.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to see it. But I am conscious of the time and the fact that I am, thanks to Optus, this broadcast was brought to you from Westfield's East Gardens, thanks to their free Wi-Fi here. But yeah, it's been a great conversation. Really enjoyed, firstly, hearing the news about GoPro. And having a conversation around kind of the issues that it will face, first up. And secondly, obviously Australia Day being featured through Snapchat. I think that was an amazing move by them to do that. Definitely some kinks that they need to iron out, to do with filters, to do with people being able to add to story, to do with the story that they're actually telling as well. I think all needed addressing, and it's actually something I will reach out to them later on today about and highlight those things, because they're things that, like, unless someone speaks out and says, hey, you got this wrong, how do they know to improve it? Yeah. So as long as it's constructive criticism, I'm a big advocate for that, and telling people, hey, I think this could be better if you did this.
He's popped out.
Gone.
There's his Wi-Fi all over. Free Wi-Fi out.
Yeah. Wi-Fi down.
It's good to hang with
you
guys.
Yeah, you too. Good to see you, Matt. All right. We'll talk to you later on. Good to see you, Lynn.
And you.
See you, Lynn.
See you guys. Bye.
I see you again. I'm not sure though whether Tristan's coming back in. The recording, it's still recording. Are you there, Tristan? I know the others have gone. I feel like a bit of a one-man band now. So I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to still be here. Are you coming back, Tristan? Is the recording still going? So, hi, Sarah. What are you up to? You think he's gone? But the recording is still recording, so I'm not quite sure about that. So, I'm not sure whether he just lost connection or whether he's intending to come back. Ah. So. For the new people joining in, I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Tristan disappeared, but the recording's still going, so I don't know whether he's coming back or whether he just lost connection or what it is. So, yeah, I wondered whether he's just lost his Wi-Fi connection. Oh, it will record it anyway, will it, even if he doesn't switch it off? I don't know. That's techie. That's too techie for me. Okay, so. Oh, right. Okay, well, I'll try and message him and see if I can get him another way. See what he's doing. Hang on, because I've got another. I can message him here. Ah, he's coming back. Here he is.
Hello.
Hello.
So, if anyone wanted to know the data connection side of Blab and how much data it uses, so we've been live for about 50 minutes, and apparently that's a gig's worth of data. So, if anyone wanted to know, that's the data usage for Blab.
Is that
what it exceeded the Wi-Fi connection here in Westfield? So, I thought I'd jump back on my phone very, very quickly to say. Yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to everyone who watched on the replay. Thank you for everyone jumping in, joining the conversation. And we'll be here again at the same time next week. You can come and join us. If you want to find us really, really easily, the best way is to go to Twitter, punch in the hashtag ATNstream, come talk all things live streaming, and we'd love to get you involved in the conversation. Thanks a lot again to Johnny for popping in, Brett, Sarah hanging in on the sidelines contributing, Blake, and this week's co-host, my mum, Lynn Blackledge over there. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll catch you again at the same time in the same place next week.